A chess game cannot be won if you do not know how to checkmate your opponent. Checkmate meaning your opponent's king is under attack and there is no way possible in which it can be saved. And there the game is over. So hi, welcome to this video. I am Karan Parikh and have been playing chess since 7 years. And I am going to be a guide for this video. In this video, we are going to be seeing 7 most common checkmating patterns, which if you keep in your mind, it would be very easy to win the game. So without any further delay, let's get started. Okay, so to start off, I am going to tell you the most common and the one which you'll encounter the most. That is back rank. So this checkmate pattern, in this checkmate pattern, as the name suggests, back rank, that is the last rank. So your opponent's king is going to be on the last rank and his squares are going to be occupied by the pawns. So here you can see the pawns are occupying most of the king's squares. So the king can't move here. Correct. So in this case, if you have a rook or a queen, then you have to think that in which way I can checkmate the black king. So in this case, the rook goes to the last rank and it is a checkmate because the king cannot move sideways as the rook is threatening it, and it cannot move forward because the pawns are there. So this pattern is known as the back rank. Now to give you one more example, here in this position it is white to play, and you can try to pause the video and find the checkmate by yourself. Okay, so here also if you notice, this is a position that you can get in your game where the king is confiscated to the last rank, the pawns are not allowing it to come out, and hence we move our rook to the 8th rank and deliver the checkmate. So this was the back rank mate. Now the second mate which I would like to share is the blind swine mate. So in this mate, your opponent's king is confiscated between his rook and the 2 pawns, and you have your rook on the 7th rank, or one rook on the 7th rank and the other on the g file aiming this pawn. Correct. So our main idea is that we have 2 rooks aiming this pawn and we are going to deliver a checkmate. So how does the checkmate happen? We take the pawn with the rook and give a check. Then the king moves sideways. Then we give another check with the rook. The king comes back and now we bring the second rook and deliver the checkmate. So here you can see that using the 2 rooks, we managed to checkmate the black king, and this checkmate pattern is known as the blind swine mate. Now moving on, the one more very common mate that you will encounter in the end games is that you will remain with 2 rooks just like this, and you have a king of course, and the opponent has a lone king, and now you have to checkmate the black king. So this is known as the 2 rooks mate, or I'll give a name, that is the ladder mate. You can perform this with 2 rooks or 1 rook and 1 queen or 2 queen anyways. Correct. So our main objective is to cut off the king's path. So for now the king cannot move here because the rook is present. Correct. In all other directions the king can go. So what we'll do is one by one we are going to cut off the king's path. So here if it's white to play, then we'll play our rook, that is on h2 to rook to f2 and give a check. Now we are also removing 2 of the other squares that the king could go, and these squares the king initially was not able to go. Correct. So now the king just has 3 possibilities. Let's say the king moves sideways. Now this is cut off, so we'll go with our other rook and give him a check. Similarly, the king goes here, and just like a ladder, we are going to perform this checkmate. So king moves sideways, we go another check, king moves sideways, check, it moves sideways, and at the last we are going to deliver the checkmate. So this was the ladder mate. But you might ask that why would the opponent king will go sideways, correct? If we give a check, he'll try to come towards the rooks. That is a legal question. So I'll show what happens in that case. So we'll give a check, the king comes ahead, check, king comes ahead, check, he comes ahead. And now is the case that we cannot give a check because the king will capture it in that case. And now, even though now also we can checkmate the black king, but it would be a lot tougher. So what we'll do instead is that we will go with first our rook here. Wherever the king goes, we'll bring our other rook. He comes here and now we'll perform the same thing. We'll go check. He comes here, then we'll wait for some time. He goes here and now we'll deliver the checkmate. Also here in this case, of course, I took the longer route, but here just by performing this also would have worked. Go here and here, and now in the next move you just deliver the checkmate. So this was the ladder mate, in which two of the rooks, queens, or a rook and a queen you can use by cutting off files and deliver the checkmate. Now moving on to the fourth mate, that is known as the Damianos Mate. Okay, so on your screen you can see this is the position which is called the Damianos Mate, in which the king cannot go to his left because the rook is blocking it and one pawn is blocking its way. And we have our pawn right here taking away two of the king's squares, correct, because pawn captures diagonally. So here if it were white to play, we go with our queen and deliver the checkmate on h7. So what did we do is that with the help of the pawn, we took away two squares, and also we made a square for the queen so that the queen is protected and the king is suffocated, and it's a checkmate. The rook here acts as a betrayer because the king could have gone here, but because the rook is there, it's a checkmate. So this is also one which you can try in your games, where you push your pawn, somehow bring it here, somehow bring your queen here, and then deliver the checkmate. The next one is the Lollis Mate. It is very similar to the Damianos Mate, but this is more frequent. Like you can play this more frequently. So in this also, somehow you bring your pawn here. Let's say you advance this pawn here and then your opponent pushes his pawn. Now you have to see that how can I bring my queen to h6, because once the queen comes here, then in the next move we put our queen here and it will be a checkmate. So this is also an interesting mating pattern and occurs many times in a game, where the pawn helps the queen to deliver the checkmate. Now an example, if I can give you, is this game in which it is white to play. If you want, you can pause the video and try it by yourself. So here you can see that white has somehow managed to bring his pawn here, the g pawn, or not the g pawn, my bad, the e pawn, like this. And now we bring our queen here, and now it's a forced mate whatsoever black plays. Let's say black plays any random move, like black takes this pawn. Then also we can go with this queen g7 checkmate. So any move here black would have played, this is a forced checkmate. So you just have to try that somehow my pawn comes here on the f6 square, or vice versa. You put the pawn here and the queen somehow here and then deliver the checkmate. So this was the Lollis Mate. The next mate is the Scholar's Mate. Okay, let's talk about the Scholar's Mate. This is one mate that is from the opening itself, and you can try this at the beginner level because many people fall for it. So I'll start the game with one e4, pawn comes to e5. Now we play the move queen to h5. Okay, firstly this is just for teaching purpose of the Scholar's Mate. Bringing out the queen at the start of the game is not a good move. But here, if black does not play good, let's say like black pushes the queen here, then the queen can capture here, it will be a check, and in the next move you can pick up the rook. So let's say black defends it by bringing out his knight. Now we'll bring out our bishop, and now if here black blunders by playing a random move like knight to f6 attacking the queen, then it's a checkmate in 4 moves. Queen takes the f7 pawn, and with the help of the bishop and the queen, the king is checkmated. So this mate is known as the scholar's mate, in which in just 4 moves you manage to checkmate the black pieces. Now one more mate, that is the fastest mate in the chess game and going to be the last mate of this video, is known as the fool's mate. This mate occurs with the black pieces and can be only tried when white plays something terrible, and that terrible should match you, because white has to start the game with pushing the pawn to f3 or the pawn to f4. Then you play e6, pawn to e6, and now if here white moves his g pawn to g4, then it is already a checkmate, because we bring our queen to h4 and the king is checkmated. The king can go nowhere, no piece can attack the queen, and none of the pieces can block the checking path. So this is known as the fool's mate. So with this, we have seen 7 checkmating patterns that will help you most in your games. A bonus puzzle I'll give you to end this video is right here on your screen. Pause the video and try it by yourself. It is one of the checkmates I have taught you throughout the video, and comment the answer down below, and I'll be glad that everybody gets it correct. So with this, I'll take your leave. This was for today's video. We learned 7 most important checkmating patterns, and yes, meet you in the 3rd episode where we'll discuss more about chess. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, click the like button, pour on your comments in the comment section, and meet you in the next video. Till then, stay safe, play chess, and keep learning. Bye bye.